Welcome to the Park Fanatic Podcast. Please remain seated while the podcast is in motion.
All good. Dispatch.
Welcome, Park Fanatics, to the Park Fanatic Podcast. We have so much to share with you today.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into our 6th episode. This is going to be a coaster-heavy episode, isn't it, Gabe?
Yeah, this is your thing. Like, you've been dying to share all this information with us. So much stuff has gone on, and we've just been so busy covering all the haunt stuff that's been happening. It's just been nuts.
With Scare LA going on, that's kind of to be expected, I guess. But there was so much good stuff going on over there that we just had to kind of streamline everything towards haunts and Scare LA.
There's only so much you can fit into an episode, and we're not going to be having 4-hour episodes. Not everybody can listen to such a long thing.
Hey, I would be honored if someone listened to our 4-hour episode, but we just know that you couldn't handle us for that long. So
yeah, we're a bit too intense.
No, we're a little over the top sometimes. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We got a lot going on. We had D23 going on this weekend.
Yes, I was my feed on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're just completely flooded. Just flooded
Blowing
with D23 information, reveals, celebrities, anything and everything you could think of D23. It was just absolutely insane.
It was nuts, dude. I was on Periscope for a lot of the weekend because, hey, that's the best way to get the quickest information. And everyone was just showing the crowds. They were crazy, man.
Dude, that's panic-inducing stuff, man. Panic-inducing. No, thank you. I mean, I'm sad I didn't get to go and see all the stuff, but I'm so happy I did not have to wait in those insane lines.
I know.
No, thank you. No fast passes, too.
No fast passes. I was happy to be in my underwear in my air-conditioned apartment, sitting on my couch, especially after Scare LA draining us down to absolute nothing.
Is that what Scare LA did to you? It broke you down so far that you're sitting on your couch in your underwear just comatose?
I was puddled, man. It was just a pure...
Not an image me or the audience needs, by the way. Just saying.
What, a puddle of
Hashtag
me?
Garett in his underwear.
That's a horrible hashtag. But we got a lot going on over there in Anaheim this weekend with D23. I believe Extended Q had the scoop for us.
Yeah, I was following their coverage all weekend long. They had really good coverage on all the panels that they were able to get into and sharing what cool little things they were able to get. I know that one thing they were able to buy was a vinyl record signed by the composer of the Star Wars Rebels series,
Ooh.
which was really, really cool.
That sounds pretty cool. I have to check that out. Yeah, Extended Q has been live tweeting the whole weekend, and then they just posted episode 8 on Sunday. They recorded live from the event, and they just released it.
Make sure you guys check out that episode if you weren't lucky enough to attend D23 like Garett and I were. The Park Fanatics were not lucky enough to attend that con. So make sure you check out the episode that they just released and get all of your D23 needs.
Yeah, you'll get your fix there for sure.
Oh, by the way, they had those really cool little shirts they made up for themselves. Those white shirts with Extended Q, little badge on the chest. It made me a little jealous.
I know.
Guys, made me jealous. Thanks a lot. Now I want a Park Fanatic t-shirt that's just a whole bunch of like random ass colors on me.
Yeah, we need to get on level with Extended Q. We need some swag, man.
We got the buttons though. We got them buttons that went out like candy at Scare LA.
True, those disappeared like that. Just real quick, they were gone. Everyone was a haunt fanatic for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks for those that retweeted and won the contest we were running, by the way. We sent out 3 buttons to some wonderful fanatics out there. You got your Haunt Fanatic and your Park Fanatic buttons on the way. Sweet.
So two things that happened at D23 that I think you and I both were very excited about were the reveal of Star Wars Land as well as Soarin' Over America.
Yeah, that Star Wars Land was released in the panel before the Parks and Resorts panel. So everyone was standing in line for the Parks and Resorts panel and got this news over social media. It was kind of funny. We got the same update as them.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why they wouldn't put that within the Parks and Resorts panel. That doesn't really quite make sense.
Really strange, isn't it? And then
But regardless, it's a cool idea. I'm excited.
Very
I'm really
cool.
excited. And I'm glad that Star Wars Land isn't taking over Tomorrowland like the original rumors were happening a long time ago.
no way.
And I think I've said this in a prior episode where it's like, guys, the movies say a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and Tomorrowland is Tomorrowland, future, tomorrow, not a long time ago. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It
Like,
doesn't.
Geek and me got mad.
Well, at least they have announced that they're going to be putting it in both parks, right? They're going to have it in California Adventure and at Disneyland Resort.
I wonder if they're trying to do something similar to Hogwarts or the Hogwarts Express in Orlando, where you're able to go to Diagon Alley and then take the Hogwarts Express and then go to what's the other
Another one.
location?
Yeah,
I'm not a Harry Potter person. I apologize. Someone's pounding their fist, pressing the unsubscribe button right now when I can't think of the King's Cross. King's Cross. There you go. Press subscribe again, guys. Press subscribe again.
subscribe
Take
again.
the Hogwarts Express from the two locations, kind of going across the parks, but
Yeah.
connected through one theme. I wonder if that's something that they're thinking about doing.
I'm excited to
connecting
hear that. Yeah,
The two.
they've been talking about this for a while, and Extended Queue is going to have the scoop for us. But they haven't really released much on what they're going to do with the area or where the location is actually going to be. But they did release that it's going to be 14 acres, which is bigger than any other land.
My assumption is that it's going to be in Toontown and then the area behind Toontown. Like they're probably just going to gut Toontown because, in all honesty, the only thing there is Roger Rabbit that's really worth anything for everybody. Everything else is just like a kid's thing. They could put Mickey Mouse's house somewhere else. They're probably just going to gut that area and then work their way back, because I know that there's area that they were talking about, like on the maps and people talking, that's area that could be developed because what, and this is going to a much larger topic. I apologize, everyone, but it goes back to the land development deals that just happened where they were buying new land.
Yeah.
And what makes sense to me is that all the area that's surrounding Disneyland that's not being used for the theme park is all offices, all work buildings, garages, things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my assumption is that they're going to take all those and move them off-site to the areas that they bought that are kind of like down the street from Disneyland, and then use the area that used to be the offices to expand Disneyland. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's what everyone's been kind of hinting towards. It seems like the most realistic option for them. So that's probably what we're going to end up seeing. And you know how psychic we are over here at the Park Fanatics. So if we say it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly, right? I was dead on a couple things that happened recently. I think I just got really lucky.
You scare me with your psychic abilities. Like, do you have like
Dude.
lottery numbers? Can we like use this?
I should go play the lottery.
We're gonna
right
go.
now so
You're,
I can
I'm gonna
be
drag
a
you
billionaire.
down to the gas station right now, and we're gonna get a whole handful of scratchers. You're picking them.
I was right. I was right about the mazes at Halloween Horror Nights. I was right about that, but then again, it wasn't like super duper hard to have guessed what he was revealing. But I was correct nonetheless. I was very correct in it. He on the Snapchat account. He posted pictures of a Milky Way, water bottles, a jar of Nutella, and then it said something of like about like the
like a
world
flame,
is
yeah.
gonna end tomorrow or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm like this is the end. Like that's clearly this is the end. Like the main joke of like when the apocalypse happened was the Milky Way bar. That was the joke.
But
And
I have low blood sugar.
no one believed me. I even told my friend who worked at Universal, I'm like, hey dude, it's gonna be this is the end. Either Terror Tram or a maze, it's gonna be this is the end. He goes, no, bro, no, man.
It's a weird choice, man.
The end, bro. It can't be, no. And I'm like, yes, it is, dude. Listen to me. And
It's a weird choice.
Behold, this is the end.
What do you think about that choice as a maze?
I am so freaking excited.
It's gonna
I
be
think
cool.
it's a great idea because a lot of the mazes that Universal does are just pure horror related. I mean, the closest that you could get to a comedy / horror maze would be like their Clowns and 3D Music by Slash maze from last year, where clowns are inherently the things they're doing are silly, but then grotesque at the same time because Horror Nights.
Of course.
That's the reason behind
Gotta be
everything.
horrific.
Because Horror Nights.
Because Horror Nights, duh. Yeah,
I know that Murdy said that this is something that he's challenging himself with, really challenging himself with, because he hasn't really had a comedy horror maze before. And if anybody's seen that movie, they know that that movie is like chock full of horror things, horror related elements that we only maybe see for a short period of time, but he could extend upon that in the maze.
Yeah.
Like all the demons and Jonah Hill throwing up and his head spinning, people on fire.
Yeah.
And they'll have somebody on fire in the maze, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to make an excellent maze. And, horror is half comedy anyways. I mean, some people get scared. If you don't get scared, you laugh at the people that are getting scared. So it seems like it would work as a maze or as an interactive haunt experience because that's, like I said, that's half of it. It's hilarity.
Yeah, comedy and horror go together like chocolate and peanut butter, man.
They are the Reese's of the
industry.
There you go. So...
And just quickly to touch upon it, just because it was released yesterday, AVP is coming back to Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood for another year to scare us out of this world. So they're probably just going to change up a few things in there. It was the fans' #1 rated maze last year, and there's no question that it wouldn't come back, especially with the massive effects that they were able to achieve in there. So we'll get another year of AVP and see what happens.
That should be cool. I'm terrified of aliens, so I didn't actually make it out to Halloween Horror Nights last year, so I'm kind of glad they brought it back after all the hype that I've heard, because that's going to be awesome. I'm terrified of aliens. It's going to make me jump out of my skin.
The maze was visually stunning. It was just gorgeous to look at, but I didn't get scared. I feel like, you know how sometimes when you go through a maze, and if you just walk in at the bad timing, like the bad timing lasts throughout the entire maze. Yeah. Like you see the scare in front of you, you don't get scared. That just nothing worked. That's what happened to me. I went through the maze and I didn't get scared. It wasn't scary. It just was not good. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I loved the visuals, but I wasn't scared. So I didn't like it. But I'm giving it another chance just because I know that the time, based on the timing that you can walk into a maze, you could really not have a good time.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. The timing is incredibly important, and that's why I always kind of like slow down the maze when I see people ahead of me. I'm like, nope. We're gonna have to slow down here for
just hold up, and then everyone behind you is like just piling up like a car accident.
But they should do the same, damn it.
You.
I don't know. Most places are pretty good about keeping crowds down in the maze, but when that does happen, it can ruin stuff for sure. So hopefully this year with Alien vs. Predator, it'll be a better experience for you and for me, since I've never experienced it.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be better for me.
So really going into our topics today, I know that at the beginning we talked about it's going to be like really roller coaster centric, right?
True. And before we actually get into our topics, I have to touch on the fact that I went to the Coaster Radio meetup just about a month ago on July 18th out at Knott's.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize.
So just about a month ago, the guys from Coaster Radio, Mike and EB, decided to do their West Coast meetup at Knott's Berry Farm, and I was lucky enough to make it out there and attend the event.
Dude, I'm so jealous of that. And I listened to the episode, and they mentioned your name a lot.
I know.
And I wish I was there to kind of be there because I'm just as big of a Knott's fan as you are.
Uh-huh.
And, it would have been really fun to be there with people who had never been there before.
Totally. And there was a lot of people that had not been there before, including EB. Unfortunately, Mike Collins couldn't make it out for the event because he had a family issue. But at the same time, they brought their friend Backup Mike. Their second Mike. So EB and his wife Triss and Backup Mike did the event, and it was just awesome hanging out with them, man. It was like hanging out with friends the whole day. It was just such a fun kickback. We ended up riding all the rides. The crowds weren't too crazy. It actually was raining and thundering and lightning during the event.
I heard you guys had to seek shelter over at like Independence Hall or something.
Yeah, I mean that was probably a little bit of a overreaction, but we don't know what to do.
With Knott's, it's like the management's just like, hey, yeah, it's raining just a little bit, but for safety, we need to get you here.
Yeah, everyone was supposed to go inside for just a sprinkle and just a touch of lightning. That's like every other day in Florida,
I also heard you abandoned your pizza.
We abandoned the pizza. But The pizza was there when we came back, so everything was good.
It's a little soggy.
And the pizza guy that came out was a crack up, that's for sure. So make sure you listen to.
God.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Costa Rica's meetup. Oh my God, that story just had me crying. I was crying.
Yeah, they got the pizzas delivered to a bus stop, and the hilarity ensued. Make
That
sure you
guy
guys
just did not understand. He just didn't get it. He
Nope.
just
Where's
a
the bus stop, man? What bus stop?
Just like it, just those two things. Just he couldn't comprehend. Like pizza delivery at a bus stop.
So it was really cool, man, hanging out with all them. It really was. They did their Voyage to the Iron Reef shootout, and I felt bad because I won. And I'm kind of a fanatic when it comes to knots, so I go there a lot. So they said it was due to my skill, but I still felt kind of bad. Like, oh no.
You should feel that. You should feel like a jerk, dude.
I know. I just wanted to beat EB. That was my only goal.
Well, guess what? You succeeded.
I beat everyone, so.
But I think you have a little bit of explaining to do, dude. You've got explaining to do.
What? You talking about my Triotech talk?
Yes, because when I was listening to the episode, EB was saying, oh, Garett was saying it Triotech. I always thought it was Triotech. I guess it's Triotech because he kept saying it. So they refer to it as Triotech every single time
Oh God.
that they could.
But
And I always thought it was Triotech.
Yeah. And I thought it was too. I thought it was Triotech because I had heard people say that, but apparently everyone says it differently. So I actually called customer service over at Triotech,
Oh my
whatever you want to call
God. Really?
Yeah, and I found out exactly what was going on.
You to literally find out
Yeah.
how to pronounce it, you called the company.
Yeah.
And we're just like, hey, I'm just curious, how do you pronounce your company's name?
I
They're
did.
getting phone calls about technology and trying to get business done, and then they have your smart butt calling saying, hey, how do you pronounce company's name?
Hey, we just wanted to represent them perfectly, right? But I actually didn't talk to anyone over at Triotech, but I did listen to their automated message, which in English it says Triotech Company, but in French, which they are located in, what is it, Montreal or Quebec, is it? Where they speak French, they say Triotech. So,
Hey, I eat freedom fries. I don't eat French fries. Triotech.
Triotech.
All day. Triotech all day.
Triotech if you're French, Triotech if you're American, or if you're just confused like me, you can switch them on out whenever you want.
Or if you're like Gary, you can just call the company whenever you have a question about pronunciation.
What's so wrong with that, man? They got customer service.
Is this the extent that you went to find out how to pronounce the name?
I'm a fanatic, man. I'm a
So
fanatic.
guys, if Costa Radio, if you're listening, it's Triotech in North America, and then in Canada, like it's Triotech apparently. I don't know.
So call whatever you want.
There's the distinction of how to say it.
Don't
I'm
be
pretty
mad
sure
at me.
I just said something really dumb with regards to geography, but whatever. I'm not a geography major.
Dude, we're American. I mean,
By the way, I ate French fries. I was just joking, not freedom fries.
Hey, any place that sells freedom fries is like trying to avoid the fact that it's obviously French fries. Even if French fries aren't French, they're Belgian, but whatever. So make sure you check out episode 941 of the Coaster Radio podcast, the More Knott's Berry Farm episode. You can also check out their episode 940 for their actual Coaster Radio meetup. Thank you guys for coming out. We really appreciate that. That was such a blast.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed it. So next time you guys come out there, I'm going to definitely want to go out there and join you guys and introduce myself so you know the second half of the Park Fanatics.
Totally. So, Gabe, I think we got to get into it. What's going on with our coasters?
We have so much coaster stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we forgot to even mention at the beginning, but we have Gabe's top 6 hints and tips to survive any haunt.
Ooh.
Like any haunt event, really.
Which I'm going to need these
span
tips.
over everything.
I need these tips, man, because you are obviously the haunt fanatic out of us, and I am not that much of a haunt fanatic, so I always get a little bit disoriented and confused during events. So you're going to have to teach me.
I told Garett this list before going on the show because, of course, we need to kind of go over everything before we talk about it so that we know what we're going to say, kind of, to a certain extent. We like to keep things free, but we have an outline. And I told him my number 3 tip and he immediately got like kind of irritated. He's like, I don't agree with that.
Nope.
Why would I do that?
Nope, I don't agree.
You guys will find out in a little bit what we're talking about when we get to that topic.
We argue a bit, but it's all in love. We love each other. Oh, Gabe, you can argue with me anytime.
Okay, so the first ride that I want to know, roller coaster that I really want to know about, dude, is Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod looks amazing. I watched the video from Dollywood, and it's the world's first launching wooden coaster, right?
Oh, man, this is like a coaster dream right here. I never even contemplated this as like a possible concept for a coaster until
like,
they said it.
It wasn't an option in your head, but now that they made it an option, it's like every roller coaster junkie's dream.
Yeah, it's like launched wooden coaster, and it's an RMC custom coaster, so it is a steel hybrid coaster. But, you know, when they want to reference it as a wooden coaster, it seems to be a little bit easier when you mention just the fact that it's a wooden coaster. But it is a steel hybrid wooden coaster.
Steel hybrid wooden coaster, but it's the first launching coaster that has wood in it at all.
Hey, Twisted Colossus has that little tire launch thing at the beginning, so we already got it.
That doesn't count.
Oh, come on.
That doesn't count.
First launched wooden coaster over here on the West Coast. What's up?
Let's see if Six Flags comments on this and says, Garrett, you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, everyone's probably saying I'm wrong, so. But this is the world's first real launched wooden coaster, and this is not something to be overlooked because this is a 45-mile-an-hour launch, man.
In the grand scheme of things, when you look at roller coasters, 45 miles per hour is not that fast. That's probably as fast as Space Mountain goes. But at the same time, when you're talking about a wooden coaster that goes 45 miles per hour on a launch, it's kind of cool.
That's crazy. And it's uphill. So
it's uphill, so that it has that little bunny hill at the top. You get the airtime.
Yeah.
Then you go into the drop. That's awesome.
Totally. So it's not just a launched wooden coaster like you would see Montezuma's Revenge or Accelerator. It's more like Maverick over at Cedar Point, if it were anything, because it takes you up that lift hill real quick. You get that pop of airtime over that first drop, which is, it's got, like you said, the double first drop. And that first drop, man, that's a 165-foot drop. So it is not just like
that's not a baby drop, guys.
No, that's intense. So 43 miles an hour up.
No, Garrett, it's not intense. It's outside. The roller coaster's outside.
It's not inside tense?
No, it's not.
Oh, well, I'm mistaken. Oh my god. I couldn't even my mind didn't even like process that until after. That was so corny. Oh my god. Okay, are you ready? That calls for a knee slapper. Right there.
I don't know if you guys know this.
Caught me off guard.
Time, I tried to make Garrett laugh during our show just because I find it very funny to screw him up. and half the time it works, half the time it doesn't, but that one worked. So
no, that worked for sure.
Continuing, it's intense.
So corny.
It's not a baby drop.
God, it's not a baby drop. No, okay, I'm getting back into it. Oh man, that blew me off course. Okay, anyways, it is a 165-foot drop, and then after that 45-mile-an-hour launch, you're going 73 miles an hour down that drop. That's intense. It's crazy. Not intense, but outside. That's a crazy fast roller coaster, and the fact that it's a wooden hybrid makes it even more intense. So, crazy cool roller coaster, super terrain following. It really just it hugs the land. It follows hills. It's got a quadruple down. You may have heard of a double down before, right?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so a double down is when they go down a hill.
KFC, right?
What?
It's that chicken sandwich from KFC, right? The double down.
No. Oh my god.
They give you double downs on the roller coaster before you go on it.
Oh man, that sounds like a mess. Anyways.
This is a mess. It's just a mess.
It's just a mess. I mean, if so a double down is when you're going down a hill and then it levels back out and then goes down another little hill. So you get a pop of airtime on that second.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. This is actually something I was going to bring up with you, but you're one step ahead.
Hey, so this one has a quadruple down. So it has 4 airtime moments on one hill. That's insane.
Yeah, it's coming back to what you were talking about with the terrain hugging like course in which this roller coaster takes, because it's on a hill. It's built on the side of a hill.
Yeah.
So in order to get back down to where it started from, you're going to need to do that. It's almost a necessity, but they're doing it in a way that, coaster enthusiasts will actually really enjoy because it's something that they don't see very often.
Oh, I mean, that's
And
crazy unique for
and
sure.
I know in a prior episode we talked about ingenuity when it comes to limited space and based on where you're building a ride, and sometimes it really forces engineers to come up with things that are brand new or rather be kind of smart about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Push
I
the
think this is one of
boundaries.
those cases as well. They're building the roller coaster in the terrain, and they only have so much they can do that they come up with these little cool ideas that they can involve in the ride just because of the fact that they're limited to space.
Yes, totally. They are limited to space. They have a pretty good chunk of land over there, but like you said, it is right on the side of a hill, so they have to keep that in mind. But this is no small coaster, man. This is a $22 million coaster. So this is the biggest investment that they've ever put into their park. It's going to be opening this March, so I'm thinking Pigeon Forge, Tennessee trip. I'm thinking. We got to
That
go.
sounds pretty awesome. I might have to make it out there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Lots of trips on our list. I'm gonna
I
have to
know.
put like each trip on a popsicle stick and then just randomly pick them out so that I'm not biased.
Yeah, we dream big over here, so one day we'll make it.
Hey, yo, Dollywood, you want to send the Park Fanatics?
Yeah, ship us out there. We'll cover your new coaster. I'd love to see it.
I like how every time there's like some new coaster, some new ride in any other state, we're just like,
we gotta
hey,
go.
whoever that is, bring us out there.
Hey, it'll work one of these days. I guarantee it. So just to wrap up what's going on with Lightning Rod, the station is half built. They already have a bunch of cinder blocks and scaffolding up. The clearing has been made for the quadruple down and a bunch of the terrain hugging track. There is trenches all over, footers in some area. There's a couple wooden structures popping up. So we already are kind of seeing the shape that it's going to be taking. It's coming along, man. It's going to be here in March. That's soon.
That's really, really soon. And I know that a lot of coaster enthusiasts are just giddy and just excited at the prospect of traveling out to Dollywood in order to ride this new ride.
Dude, RMC has got the hook, the scoop, and we are just as excited as all the other coaster fanatics out there.
RMC has their hook in the roller coaster industry right now.
Oh,
like,
man.
they're not letting go. Like,
No.
this is the big company right now that has been dominating everything, has been creating all these brand new rides, redesigning old rides, and everyone has been loving it. They're making buku bucks over there right now.
Oh yeah, they are, and they've been busy with. They got Roar coming out next year. They have this coaster. They also have Storm Chaser over at Kentucky Kingdom, which is, by the way, our next one on the list. Whoa, RMC overload. Rocky Mountain Construction has been.
And then the rumored Ghost Rider one. We don't know if that's true or not yet, right?
Yeah, that hasn't been announced yet. That's probably going to be in 2017, if I were to guess. I don't know for sure, but
I'll cross my fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah, right. That thing needs it.
I went on it this weekend. I came off like I felt like I got out of a fight.
Yeah, you fought the Ghost Rider, and it usually wins.
I took friends there who had never been there before, and he looked at me after the ride and he goes, I feel like after that first drop, if you punched someone in the face on the ride, they wouldn't know that you punched them in the face.
Totally.
Because they would just think that the ride itself just hurt their face.
Dude, I put my hands up on that first drop and I elbowed my friend in the face on one of my trips there. And I didn't notice I did it until after the ride. He goes, you elbowed me, right? And I was like, oh, really? No.
I always try to put my hands up on that drop, and I leave them up until like right before you hit the bottom.
Yeah.
So my hands just fly down.
Man, that first drop is so worth anything that ride puts you through. Drag you to hell drop. That's what I call it.
So Storm Chaser.
Storm Chaser.
Fill me in on what's happening with Storm Chaser.
So Storm Chaser over at Kentucky Kingdom has released a video about Storm Chaser. They released this like No Limits 1 simulation, which is like 10 frames per second. This horrible looking, but it gets the job done. Kind of gives you an idea of what to expect with this. It looks amazing, just like any other RMC coaster out there. But I don't know if you know about Medusa in Six Flags Mexico. I do know
about that, right?
Yeah, they have that barrel roll down drop. The first drop, it just throws you right into an inversion.
Yeah.
Well, America is finally getting that out here in Kentucky. We're going to have the first barrel roll down drop on Storm Chaser, so that's interesting. It's only going to be 100 feet tall, so they really have to kind of play with it. They have to be unique about it because it's not that
That
big.
doesn't seem too tall.
No, and they've done that in the past with what's it called? Out in New England.
What's it called? Roller coaster?
Oh
New
my
England?
God! People are smacking me in the
They're
face.
pressing the unsubscribe button again.
I know.
I got them to resubscribe with catching my fault. Now you're having them press the unsubscribe button again because you can't remember the name of the what's it called coaster.
The what's it called coaster? Oh my God!
Leo's gonna smack you in the face.
Wicked Cyclone. Wicked Cyclone.
Okay, there you go.
That was me smacking myself for just being
Okay,
so
Leo,
lame.
take that to slap.
Oh, all them people out in Boston are all pissed off. Oh, see, there's another horrible accent for you guys. I'm from Massachusetts too. That was a horrible Boston accent.
suck,
oh my
dude.
God. I do suck. It's okay. So Storm Chaser, it's got that the barrel roll down drop. It's got 3 inversions total, which one of them is like an overbank turn. It's the 140-degree stall, which I guess you can call that an inversion.
That counts.
Yeah, it counts. They got a couple new things on this. They got the corked roll, which is kind of like a corkscrew, but instead of just ending it normally, it kind of banks outwards or banks inwards, so it comes to a helix finish. Overall, it looks pretty cool. They got a lot of airtime. They got a lot of unique elements on it. They got the trick track double up, which has never happened. I know how much you like the trick track.
Yeah. I turned to a man when I started. Tracks.
Oh yeah, the trick track. Oh, that's amazing.
I started off with the grumbling voice about trick tracks because I'm not a big fan of them.
No, you don't like trick tracks.
It into everything else that I don't want.
A drunk old guy that's perhaps
The drunk old guy that talk about the tracks and shit and stuff.
This is what we're gonna sound like in 70 years. So preparing now. Roller coasters is a part of Disney. Mickey Mouse is my uncle.
God, we are just goofballs today.
I know. I'm surprised you guys are even listening. Thanks for keeping tuned in, everyone.
With us after all this dorky crap.
Ooh, man. So, I mean, if you're still with us, we still got more to talk about because
we just like having fun is all. That's the only thing is that we like having fun instead of just going with the facts.
Exactly. So, we're going to have some more fun here, but before we do, I got to tell you all about the construction that's happening on Storm Chaser, because they're already chugging along pretty hardcore over there, man.
Busting through the construction already?
Busting through that construction. The track is all gone on the original roller coaster, which was the Twisted Sisters / Twisted Twins / the lawsuit.
/sued roller coaster.
Sued by Twisted Sisters roller coaster. So the track's all gone on that. The iBox, the bright orange RMC track that everyone knows and loves, is on site. It's there laying out, ready to put on. They probably, by the time you're listening to this out there in the Ethernet, they've already got it on there, I'm sure. But as of August 12th, the track is on site and ready to go. So looking forward to more updates. We've actually been following along through Coaster Chit Chat. Thanks for all those awesome Kentucky Kingdom updates, Coaster Chit Chat.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. And then our last roller coaster, Gabe, that we have a little bit of an update on.
This was like not a secret release, but it was like leaked, right? This was leaked. So we're talking about Valravn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over at Cedar Point.
Tell us a little bit about Valravn there.
So Valravn, which was supposed to be released on the 18th, and we're recording this on the 16th. As you said, it got leaked, and they're saying that it happened through the Cedar Point app. So, not that we're complaining.
Someone's getting fired.
Yep. Someone's in trouble. I'm not complaining because I am so stoked for this new drop coaster. It is the newest B&M roller coaster, B&M drop coaster, which we haven't seen any outside of the Busch Gardens theme parks. So this is actually the first one in America outside of that. Very exciting, man. Everyone loves the drop coaster, is what it seems like. It's the favorite for a lot of
drop coasters are the next thing, like the next fad.
Well, they've been a fad for a while, man, and people love themselves some drop coasters. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little insight on what the track layout is going to be like, because we haven't really heard much about it. We've actually only seen pictures and some speculations and whatnot.
Yeah. I know that they released like just like the layout of what it looks like, pretty much,
Yeah.
and that's about it, right?
Yeah, model basically.
Yeah, the model.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was computer generated or if it was an actual.
It looked computer generated.
Yeah, it looked like it, but it was a beautiful model, man. That's for sure. I know Colby Connection out there is probably freaking out, like, oh, look at that model.
Colby Connection is already building it. It's like already half done.
Yeah.
Like he's ready to go.
We love that guy's models. He's really good at that. Anyways, this model showed us the entire layout. It's got 3 inversions, which I don't think that's been done on a drop coaster before. Someone out there correct me if I'm wrong. But it's got this huge Immelman right off the first major drop, which if you don't know what an Immelman is, it's where you go into a loop from the top of the loop, and then it comes down into a dive coaster sort of situation. So it goes into an Immelman, and then, I'm sorry. It actually goes out through the top, so that's an Immelman. I know. I'm so sorry. I messed up the Coaster Fanatics.
You just got owned.
I know. I don't claim to be an expert. I may talk a lot about this, but I'm just reciting stuff I've seen online. So it dives after that into a curve and up to a brake run. Then it goes into another dive, similar to Shikra over at Busch Gardens. Goes into another dive and goes into another dive loop, which is awesome. More inversions. And then it goes right into a corkscrew, or as we've learned today, the corked roll, where it corkscrews and then ends through like a curved helix sort of moves.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then there's 2 little airtime hills, which probably won't be that intense, but 2 airtime hills.
Airtime hills are airtime hills. I love airtime hills.
Right? Who can complain about airtime? And then it dumps you right into the brakes. So it seems like a crazy unique layout. Hasn't been done before.
And just a whole bunch of new little things added here and there.
Yeah. And they've already started clearing out the land for it. They removed a bunch of stuff near the Cedar Point Marina. They've demoed the Good Times Theater and the Turnpike Cars. And also...
They just demolished a ton of stuff to put this thing in.
Yeah,
How big is this thing?
It's pretty good size, man. I mean, dive coasters are never small. They're huge. The track size...
You would think that they would be a little bit more compact, but I mean, it seems like this is taking up a very large space of land in order to get it done.
Totally. They've also relocated Calypso and Dodgems, which I think is like a bumper cars thing. So that, like you said, it's taken up a lot of space, but this thing is huge. Dive coasters, the track is about twice as large to accommodate these huge, large
like cars.
Yeah,
because they're usually really, really wide, right? They're like, what is it, like 10 people across or something crazy?
Yeah, they differ. 6 across is the smallest for dive coasters, and then I think it's either 10 or 12 across that they get.
Yeah, they're really, really wide. And is it just because they don't want to have a coaster with a train with like 6 cars attached? Like, is there a reasoning behind it, or is it like a physics thing where it just makes more sense to have one large car?
I'm not sure if there's a practical reason behind it or if it's just a design strategy.
I'm assuming it's a design strategy in order to achieve whatever it's doing.
Yeah, I think it's just basically for the amusement aspect of it, because people always say, oh, back car all the way to the left, where you're hanging off the track. That's the best spot. So I think there's something to it. I've actually never ridden a dive coaster because, like I said, they're only out on the East Coast at the 2 Busch Gardens, the Williamsburg and Tampa. So we haven't even gotten a taste of it. And now it's going to be up at Cedar Point, which is equally as far and hard for us to get to. So we're still going to be dreaming about our dive coasters, but still, something to be excited about.
My assumption is that it has to do something with physics and gravity and just momentum is what I'm assuming. I mean, like I said, it's an assumption. Anybody who's listening who knows more about that, let us know, because I'm actually genuinely interested to know whether or not it's done for a reason.
Yeah, we may be fanatics and enthusiasts, but we are no experts. So if you are an expert, please teach the Park Fanatics a lesson. We're always looking to learn a little bit of new information and where we've messed up, because I'm sure that we've given some bad information over the
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
I know. We do our best over here. We really do.
And we have one more coaster, right? We have one more coaster?
Yeah, they're
We have
over.
the Jurassic Park one, which is crazy. A Jurassic Park roller coaster. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this one was over in Universal Studios Japan, right, Gabe?
Yeah, we're gonna have to fly out there now. Make a trip out to Japan. Anybody in Japan
Throw
want
that
to
on
let
the
us come over
list.
there and review your ride? Just wanted to get that stuff out of the way before we move on. I
Yeah.
assume that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it'll happen for sure. An excuse to go on a trip is a good excuse. So out to Japan we go. Yeah, man.
It's a
This
Jurassic Park
is
flying coaster, correct? Or am I incorrect?
no, that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Tatsu over at Six Flags Magic Mountain, right?
Oh yeah, that's actually my favorite ride at Six Flags.
Oh, perfect. So you know how it works then. You know they have the dual loading station. It's kind of slow on the loading, so that's why they have the dual loading station. And even with that, it seems to have some problems. But everyone seems to love it. It's like the most popular ride at that park. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good choice for them over at Universal Studios Japan. They have one other B&M hyper coaster, I think it is, which is called what is it? Hollywood Dream of Drop Hollywood. I don't know. Someone's smacking me again.
Hollywood Rip Ride and Rocket.
No, no, that's the one in Florida. But
Oh, whoops.
yeah, this one's crazy. They actually took that car and just turned it around backwards and then renamed it. And now that hypercoaster goes backwards on their track. I'd love to go try that too. So now we got the
Interesting.
flying coaster and the backwards hypercoaster.
Oh,
need to-
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Completely off top. Well, not really off topic because it has to do with coasters.
Woo.
But you remember how they used to put Colossus backwards during
Yeah,
Halloween? Do
Totally.
you think they'll still do that with Twisted Colossus?
Oh, I wish they would, but I don't think they will on this one. I don't think it's designed for it. But that would
It's
be
just
so
too much G's going in different areas for it to do that.
I guess. I don't know exactly why, but I mean, that how freaking cool would that be?
That'd be insane.
Backwards twisted Colossus. I could not even imagine. Oh, that would be
Brain
really...
exploding now.
Yeah, brain gone, complete. Good idea. Hey, now we gotta contact some people over at Six Flags and give him the what's up from the Park Fanatics.
We'll just give Scott Ramp all the information. He could pass it along.
Yeah. We got some friends over there. We could.
Just FYI, everybody, Scott Ramp is the guy who does all the makeup for Fright Fest. So
Which means
he's always at all the little cons, so that not little, but he's always at the con, so that he's always available to talk to. So we'll just pass him a note like in class.
Yeah.
To say, do you want to make Twisted Colossus go backwards or forwards? Or backwards for Halloween? Check yes or no.
And he'll go, "What the heck is this? I do makeup, man."
And then I'll have, yeah, pretty much. So, our next topic at hand, my friend.
Let's get right into it, Gabe. You got our 6 top tips for surviving a haunt experience.
Yes, these are the things that I think are rather important to remember, things to kind of keep in mind when going to any haunt. And some of them are kind of towards specific haunts. You'll know what I mean when we get to them.
Totally.
Because not all haunts offer the same perks, not all of them offer the same experience, and the park layouts. So things change and things differ just based on where you're going and what experience you have.
Totally.
But let's start off at our number 6 tip. Our number 6 tip. So it's going to work its way all the way down to 1. I guess they're not really in any particular order. They're just kind of my hints and tips to surviving a haunt. So our number 6 would be...
You got the top tips, man. You are definitely a pro at this.
Our top 6, but not in any particular order. Our number 6 tip would be, don't go scaring people. You're not a monster. You don't work there. Just leave the scaring to the monsters in the mazes and in the streets. Let them do their job. Don't be annoying and start scaring and screaming at random people. Honestly, it's just one of my biggest pet peeves.
Oh gosh, I hate it when people do that. That's so annoying. You're there to be scared, not to scare people. Get a job at Knott's or Halloween Horror Nights if you want to scare people, right?
Yes, exactly. It's childish and annoying, and most of the time it's kids who are in high school who end up doing it, who I want to punch in the face anyway.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's childish. Like, don't do that. Leave it up to the professionals who are there getting paid to do it. Seriously.
Man, teenagers are horrible sometimes.
And we were teenagers at one point.
I know, I was a horrible teenager, man.
So was I.
We could at least acknowledge that.
I'm clearly aware of it, so we're all good there. So our number 5 tip
Number
would
5,
be
Gabe.
show up early, but get there before it opens. Because a lot of the time when you get there before it opens, the lines are just forming. You'll be the first ones in. Therefore, you'll be the first ones in order to get out into the park to experience what you want to do. Don't show, like, if the park opens up at 7, don't show up at 6:50.
Which the haunt opens up at 7, right?
Yeah, at Knott's Berry Farm opens up at 7 usually. Show up early because you're going to have to make time for parking. Parking is always going to be a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a pain in the butt. Leave time for parking. You're going to have to walk to the park. Just make sure that you're leaving enough time in order to experience the haunt in all of its glory, really. Because there's always going to be a lot to experience, and you don't want to shortchange yourself with the time.
Totally. And you could show up before the haunt even starts and hang out in Knott's Berry Farm. Is that right? If you have a season pass, at least.
No, I mean, like, if you have a season pass, you could definitely go into the park and go in and kind of take pictures of stuff, while you're in there before haunt even starts.
Yeah.
I have a season pass to Knott's Berry Farm, so I go in there during the day to get my pictures done, like of some of the facades, some of the decorations, because at nighttime it gets too dark and can't really get good pictures. So I'm a dork enough in order to go into the regular park before they kick us all out to really set up haunt, because they do kick you out about 2 hours to an hour before haunt starts in order for them to get everything done.
Oh, so the whole park shuts down for that. Okay.
Yeah, the whole park shuts down. So it's not like Six Flags where you're just in there, then all of a sudden monsters start showing up.
Yeah.
They kick you out of the park in order to get things done because Rafi, who is, I think, like the park manager or park operations manager, I forgot his title. Sorry, Rafi, if you're listening.
The head
But
PD,
his big thing is that nothing really shows to affect daily park operations. So that's why, like, bumper cars aren't used for mazes anymore, because he doesn't want the ride to be taken up with a maze. Nothing affects daily operations.
I get you.
So
that's a good plan, I guess.
that's why they close the park and set a lot of things up when people aren't there.
And that's when TGI Fridays across the street is the busiest.
Everyone's getting their drink on.
Get that drink on.
And that brings us to our number 4 tip.
Number 4, Gabe. What is it? Drop it on us.
Research. Know where you're going.
Do it.
Know what to expect. Know what shows and what mazes to see. Because when you show up there and then people are just like, what do we do? That was a really bad, Stallone impression. I don't know where that came from. That was weird.
We're full
Anyway,
of bad impressions.
What
so
do we do?
add another.
I
don't know. Oh, Adrian. Oh,
so,
terrible.
know what mazes they're offering. Know what you want to hit up. Know what themes there are, so that if somebody may have like a clown issue, don't go to the clown area. But if you know that there's a certain maze you want to do because you're excited about it, go to that one.
Yeah.
Know the environment. Be aware, so that it has a much easier way of going through the park and hitting things up.
That's a good tip, man, because if you don't plan it out, you're going to miss out what you want to see the most, and especially when you only have a limited amount of time during haunt, you definitely want to make sure you catch everything.
Leading on, or take advantage of any of the perks that are available. If you have enough money in order to afford doing like front of the line, do the front of the line. Because a lot of the time these haunts get so crowded, especially Halloween Horror Nights and especially Knott's on a busy day.
Oh yeah.
Lines get up to over an hour, and it limits you to what you're able to experience. And a lot of the time with theme parks, you always are able to wait in lines. I mean, you don't want to wait in the line for haunts. It's not fun. You want to experience the entire event as a whole. Mm-hmm. So you're going through the mazes, and then you're going through the scare zones. You go through a maze, scare zones. That's kind of what it's about, Yeah. So if you have the ability to get in front of the line, I think that's one of the most important things that you can do to enjoy your experience. Then you're not really pressured to run places to get into a line before it gets crazy or do anything intense,
Yeah.
As well as, I think it's really important, like, if they offer something like Knott's. Knott's offers early entry to Knott's Scary Farm if you eat at the pre-scare buffet.
Ooh,
the pre-scare buffet is like $20 to $25. That's a steal. And it's a buffet for $25, and you get in for early, like 30 minutes early to the haunt, and you get to have pictures taken with monsters. Why wouldn't you ever want to do that?
On top of that, you get the souvenir cup too, so you get refills for the entire day, your entire trip to Knott's. So all of it's pretty worth it. It's
a steal.
As a bundle package, that's a pretty good deal, man.
It's a complete steal.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights also offers VIP as well as front of the line access. Don't think they do VIP this year. I think that's taken out.
Yeah.
But, I know that almost all haunts offer some type of front of the line access. And if it's a busy day, invest in it, because you're going to have a much better time not worrying about hitting everything.
And on top of that, if you are only going to experience this haunt once, you don't want to have a bad experience. You want to go and see all the mazes. So spend that extra money and actually see all the mazes. You're paying the money already. You might as well enjoy it to its fullest extent.
Exactly. And that's 100% correct. So that's number 4 is take advantage of all the perks possible.
Do it.
So on to our next one.
Number 3, Gabe.
So you want to start at the back of the park. I think I got off on the numbers. I don't know how to count, guys. I'm off on the numbers. So I'm not going to say numbers anymore.
We got 3 total tips, but they're all equal. And
yeah, they're all equal.
Anyway,
so my next one is this is something that does change depending on what's happening. But start at the back of the park. Move your way to the front of the park, because a lot of the time when people show up to a haunt, they do the first thing they see.
Jump right in line.
Immediately, the first thing they see, they go to. Nobody runs to the back of the park. So for Halloween Haunt at Knott's Berry Farm, Black Magic was in the back. And a couple of years back, Black Magic was the new maze. So that works out perfect.
Yeah.
You want to hit the new mazes first, and then also work your way from the back to the front, because that's just the way crowds are going to work.
Yeah, that's
so if you work your way from the back to the front, crowds aren't going to get to you for at least 2 or 3 mazes. You'll be able to hit 2 or 3 mazes with no lines, no waits, and you'll be able to walk through and actually get scared because you're not conga lining through the mazes.
Cha.
So, I mean, like I said, this does change based on what the new mazes are and what things they're offering. So I know Knott's Berry Farm last year had 2 new mazes that were kind of near the front of the park. That was Voodoo and Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, they were right up there, weren't they?
And I know that based on that, your plans do have to change. But if the new mazes and everything falls in line with this idea, then definitely fall in line with that idea, because you're going to have a much better time being able to hit these mazes without waiting in any lines.
Yeah, that's a good plan, man. I mean, that's always a good plan for any trip to the park, is run to the back of the park, especially right at opening. You'll get through those lines quick. That's a good one, man. Definitely.
Exactly. And Halloween Horror Nights, especially now, because they're putting mazes on the back lot. Mm-hmm. So that's the first place you go. Go to the back lot. Go on those mazes, then work your way back, because by the time you're working your way back, people are already going down there because they finished the ones at the front.
Yeah.
And all the crowds start following those crowds, and then eventually, you'll cross paths, but things work out well that way. And I do it the same way every year, especially with my front of the line. Because at Universal, it's front of the line, you can only use it once. Use it once on each maze.
But that's
so if you work your way from the back to the front and don't use it, you're able to go on every single maze without using a front of the line. And then by the time it's super crowded, you use your front of the line.
Hey.
You do everything twice.
Do everything twice for the price of one. That's a good plan.
Pretty much. It hasn't failed me once doing that plan since I've used it.
I trust you, Gabe. I trust you. The haunt fanatic over here.
So this is the last one, and this is where Garrett and I really were divided.
Mm-hmm.
My tip is, if you're going to a haunt, albeit Fright Fest, Halloween Horror Nights, Knott's Scary Farm, any other theme park haunt, don't go on rides. The rides are there all the time. The rides are permanently there. You're going to this event, this specially ticketed event that sometimes is more expensive than the normal ticket price, in order to be scared and to go on the things that are not offered during a normal day. Why would you go on things that are there year round? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't go to a theme park at all during the year, only for Halloween, then going on rides makes sense. And then I would suggest getting the front of the line access to everything so that you could ride them.
That's even more expensive. But
if you're going for a haunt, particularly to get scared, don't go on rides. Don't waste your time.
Oh, see, this is where I disagree with you, Gabe. I like going on rides, especially if you have a pass, say to like Knott's, and you have multiple opportunities to hit all the mazes. Sometimes those lines are empty for the roller coasters. So all of a sudden, Accelerator, which has an hour-long line any other time of the year, has like a 15-minute wait because everyone wants to get to the mazes. So I'm like,
I've not once experienced that.
No?
I've not once gone to Not Scary Farm and seen a zero line for any ride except maybe like kids rides or like Montezuma.
Oh, see, last year I went to Fright Fest and I jumped on X2 in like 45 minutes, which is unheard of.
45 minutes is a long wait for a ride.
Not for X2. X2 is like a 3-hour wait every other day of the year.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess 45 minutes isn't too bad.
No.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, you could go on X any other time of the year. You could go on an off day, and you probably get on it walk-on.
That's a
you
hard
could go
one.
on an off day, and it probably still is 45 minutes to an hour.
I just went on a Wednesday, and it was a good hour and a half, and I was stoked on that. I was like, sweet, hour and a half.
See, that's still not that bad if you're saying it's 3 hours long all the time.
No.
I'm just saying that if you're going to a park to get scared from people and go in mazes, why would you waste your money and go on a ride when you could go on that ride that is there any other time?
Because I got the pass. I got the pass, man.
But see, even if you have the pass, that only solidifies my point even more. Where it's like if you have a pass in order to go to a park any other time of the year, and you're paying money to go on, you're basically paying double the money that you're paying already in order to go on a ride that you can go on any other time.
I get you.
Like if you have that pass, you can go anytime you want to go on that ride.
Yeah.
Why are you paying money in order to go on the ride again when you're already paying money for them to do it?
Because I like Ghost Rider in the dark.
That's fine. That's good and dandy.
Yeah.
But
and I'm gonna go to Scary Farm like 10 times.
That makes sense. At least I'm making sense.
No, you're totally making sense. I'm just arguing with you.
Yeah, I know. Arguing with me. Gosh,
Come on, Gabe. Jeez, God. But I'll ride some rides for God's sakes. It's fun, have fun.
So those are my tips to having a good time at any haunt. And if you guys have any ones that I didn't mention or I didn't say or I didn't think of, let us know. What things do you do to have a good time at haunts? Like, what do you do in order to make your time easier, more relaxing, and to really get the optimal amount of entertainment value out of these experiences?
Mm-hmm. Hey, those are great tips, Gabe. I really need that sort of information because, like I said, I just don't know much about haunts compared to you. So you're like my mentor. You're going to help me.
The same thing with you with roller coasters. I don't know a crap ton about roller coasters. So look to you for the information on the roller coasters.
Hey, we're both nerds in our own sense, So
we're like puzzle pieces. We fit together perfect.
Oh, we're just so good as a theme park podcast.
I think that wraps up everything, right?
That's the end of our episode, Gabe. I think we got everything covered. We got all the roller coasters.
A couple thank yous, right?
Yeah, we got thank yous to cover for sure. So why don't you start us out? I know we had an iTunes review.
Yes, we did. So we have another iTunes review by J. Depp 1982.
Hey.
And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that's Johnny Depp disguising himself as an iTunes user.
That is totally Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp
Clearly
totally
Johnny
listens
Depp.
to us.
Johnny Depp is listening to our podcast.
So thank you, Johnny Depp 1982, for leaving us a wonderful review. We
5-star review.
5 stars.
He said five. I'm stuck on the five stars.
Five.
He said, fun podcast about everything theme parks. I'm not much of a roller coaster fan myself, but it's fun to hear about others' experiences so that I don't need to ride. Good energy, fun hosts.
Oh, well, thanks, Johnny Depp. We love that.
Thanks, JDepp1982, for leaving us a 5-star review. It really helps us out, really show up on the listings of the podcast.
Yeah.
When you search theme park or anything else. If you search our names exactly, we're going to pop up first, which is good. Yeah. But, if you guys are listening, leave us a review on iTunes, please. It helps us so much show up in the listings. And like we just did now, we'll thank you on air.
Yeah. It's the easiest way to get on our show is to leave us a review in iTunes. That's the easiest way to get on the show for sure.
Really, it really is. Or you leave some smart butt comment on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I'll probably think it's really funny, so I'll probably mention it.
Yeah, totally. We finally got our first negative review on YouTube. High five, internet
what,
five.
Really? High
yeah.
five. Woo! What did it say? Do you remember?
said thanks for all the heavy breathing, and some other smartass comment. I don't know. Go look it up. Follow that guy.
I apologize to every other fan right now. Comment from that guy. That's funny.
That's just for that guy.
That guy has a sad life.
Yep. So now we got to get on to our list of thank yous, man. We got a bunch of people that went to D23 that we watched their coverage, and we got a bunch of people that gave us some information for our episode today. So I'm just going to go down the line. Extended Q, guys. Our buddies over at Extended Q have that wonderful episode covering all of D23, so make sure you check out episode 8. And thank you guys for doing all of that wonderful coverage of D23.
I feel like we're like exchanging thank yous every time with them. Every single episode, they're just like, "Those guys are so cool at Park Fanatics," and then we're like, "Oh, Extended Q, this is so good." And then it's just like every episode is
we're just friends, man.
It's ridiculous.
We just like our friends. That's all.
Definitely.
So Extended Q, check out their new episode. Park Journey, Disney Coast to Coast, Jeff DePoli, Brian Sager, which is at Skywalker Brian. All of these people were periscoping and live tweeting D23. So thank you to everyone that brought us some D23 info. We love when we get some coverage off Twitter, Instagram. You can follow all those guys. Extended Q, Park Journey, Disney Coast to Coast, Jeff DePoli, Patrick from Disney Coast to Coast, and Skywalker Brian. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and then we also got our fans that we have to thank. Neo, what's up, Neo?
Neo's always on that list.
I know.
I feel like it kind of is just like a given.
Yeah.
Every single time, Neo is on that list. He's providing us with information, giving us pictures, and all this stuff. You know, I feel like just at the beginning of every episode, just say, "Welcome to the Park Fanatic Podcast." Thank you, Neo. And moving on with each topic.
That's a good way. We should start the show next time like that for sure. Because Neo is one of our biggest fans, you know, and he's our friend, obviously. We chat all the time. Dr. Bacon, the Cheesy Turtle, another awesome fan of ours. We love
those
Dr.
are like
Bacon.
our two main fanatics, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, they're the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Like we have a good fan base, but I mean, like those two guys are just insane.
We love those guys.
Not in a bad way.
No.
Maybe
no.
a bad way.
They're
But
fanatical. Fanaticals.
Yes.
They are absolutely crazy about theme parks just like us. So make sure you follow at the Cheesy Turtle and at Riviera Neo because they're awesome. And then we also got to say thank you to Coaster Chit Chat and Coaster Force for giving us information on Lightning Rod, on Valravn, on Storm Chaser. Also, Sandusky Register. They gave us a good article for what was going on with Valravn. Yeah, anyone that's blogging and we're checking your updates, we love what you got, man. That's awesome.
And I know recently we've been doing a lot of hashtags because of silly things that I say, like
Buttercream.
hashtag buttercream.
Buttercream.
Which thanks Jeff for hashtagging buttercream.
Buttercream.
But I know that
Cream.
Extended Q wants to make a hashtag trend.
Ooh.
So I know I want to help them out on this because I find it very funny. So
It's
anybody
hilarious.
who has a Twitter or a Facebook, go to that Twitter or Facebook and hashtag Scare Tiffany.
Scare Tiffany. See,
Tiffany is Steve's wife,
and
she used to work at Halloween Horror Nights, and she was fine with it, but she doesn't like being scared. And his goal in life, or rather in the show,
in podcasting life, which is life, Gabe,
is is to take her to another haunt
and to scare the crap out of her because scare Tiffany. So
he finds it funny. And I said, why don't you just take her there and just do it? And he goes, well, I have a marriage to think of, but that's a good idea.
That's a good thing to look after, I guess.
So, guys, help trend hashtag Scare Tiffany for them so that he can enjoy his wife getting scared.
Yeah, send them some scary stuff. At Extended Q, hashtag Scare Tiffany. Send them your scariest pictures. Try to scare the crap out of Tiffany. That's what we're doing.
And help them get her to a haunt.
Get it trending, people. Scare Tiffany. Get them to a haunt. All right.
So does that wrap everything up, dude?
Yeah, we of course we got to say thanks to Coaster Radio Season Pass. We love those guys.
Always.
Yes. So thanks, guys. Thanks to Rick at TPA. Thanks to everyone that was in that awesome Periscope the other night after D23. That was a blast.
It was quite entertaining.
That was funny. Oh, man. So thanks to everyone that's contributed, retweeted us. If we've missed you, yell at us on Twitter, and we'll thank you in the next episode because we love, love, love our listeners. And Gabe, I think that pretty much sums it up. So what do you have to tell us?
You can follow me at Laker793 on Twitter.
And you can follow me at the Coaster Roll on Twitter.
And there's a very important thing, people. Always remember, don't just be a fan, be a fanatic.